Do you know what the most important factor for a player's win rate at online poker is? Of course, their skill level relative to the other player's level is crucial, but there is one more thing: rakeback. The money grinders get back from the sites they play on often makes up 30% or in some cases even 40% of their winnings. So how much extra could you be earning just by switching to the right poker room? Let's find out, because today I'm going to tell you my 5 best poker rooms for rakeback, how much they actually pay, and why the headline rakeback rate might be misleading. My name is Andreas Wagner. I'm a professional poker player and coach based in London. 5th best poker room for rakeback has a headline rakeback rate of 60%. Now, if this were the actual rate, it would shoot right to the top of my list. But sadly, it isn't. In fact, the rakeback system of this site is designed to be complicated, and nobody knows what the actual rakeback is for individual players. The site distributes rakeback through splash pots, promotions, and a so-called fish buffet. I'm not even sure if the people who designed the system understand it. That said, casual players do tend to get a decent amount of rakeback, and it is often fun to play the games that determine your rakeback. But grinders are penalized because the system favors recreational players. Combine that with one of the highest rakes in the market, and you will see that the overall package is not quite as good as the advertised headline rakeback rate. It is still a good amount for recreational players on this 5th best poker room for rakeback, which is no other than the host of the WSOP Online, GG Poker. The next one has a very solid and super transparent rakeback system, which would make it a favorite of mine. The only trouble is that the site is unregulated and therefore operates in a gray market. So I will not recommend playing on this site, but it is open for Americans and it offers a flat 27% rakeback. And you can even have it paid out on demand, so you don't have to reach a minimum spend or wait until a specific day. For players who like such a straightforward approach, this system seems ideal. But as I said, the site is unregulated, which means that you don't have any security over the money you deposit on the site. Therefore, this is only the 4th best poker room for rakeback, ACR, formerly Americas Cardroom. This next site actually has a better rakeback program than its reputation, especially since they overhauled it not too long ago. The room pays between 15 and 40% depending on how much rake a player paid. This is better than on most other sites, but I always find it a bit confusing because the rakeback is established via so-called chests, and the value of those chests can go up and down depending on how much a player plays. You'll see that the next poker rooms we'll be talking about have more straightforward rakeback systems that pay even more, but our 3rd best poker room for rakeback is not too bad either. It is the behemoth of the industry, the most famous poker site out there, PokerStars. The 2nd best site for rakeback has a more transparent rakeback system, even though it is not as straightforward as our number 1 room that we will talk about later in the video. You get between 20% and 50% rakeback depending on how much rake you pay every week. To get the top rate, you need to pay over $1,000 in any given week. In weeks where you don't reach that amount, you will obviously get a lower rakeback. And if you pay less than $50 in rake per week, you won't get any rakeback. For mid-stakes grinders, this is one of the best options out there, even if you have to play against well-known streamers like Nick Eastwood, Easty.
There's absolutely no way that ever happens to anybody else.
And other pros who spend several hours every day grinding on the side. But the real disadvantage with this poker room is that players in big parts of the world don't have access to its real money offerings. In the US, for example, it is only available in 3 states. And in Europe, there are also plenty of countries that don't allow playing on this site for real money. But if you do have access to the site and a consistent and transparent rakeback system is important to you, I definitely recommend it. The 2nd best poker room for rakeback is 888 Poker. And now, let's move to the best poker room for RAKEBACK. This one might sound a bit complicated, but it is actually a very straightforward and solid rakeback system. You get a flat 33% rakeback every week, no matter how much rake you paid. Apart from the unregulated ACR side, this is the only poker room that has such a straightforward and fair arrangement. The only thing is that this side is a crypto-only side. The advantages of this poker room are that it is available to virtually anyone in the world, including to US players, and that it is anonymous while still safe. So the best poker room for RAKEBACK is therefore CoinPoker.